Hello friends, today I am going to reveal some true facts about the Constitution of the United States of America. But first of all, I request you to please share and subscribe my channel for getting my informative true facts videos uninterrupted. Now, the Constitution of US. Why does the Constitution matter? Constitution is a body of fundamental laws which say how a government is to operate. It is the supreme law of the land. Constitution explains how the government works. Constitution protects your civil rights. A brief outline. The preamble lays out the purpose and introduces the Constitution. The article, the substance of government's law. The articles, the substance of governmental law. The amendments. The 7 articles. Number 1. The legislative branch. Number 2, the executive branch. Number 3, the judicial branch. Number 4, relations among states. Number 5, the amendment process. Number 6, national debts, national supremacy, oath of office. 7, requirements for ratification. The 6 basic principles of the Constitution of US. Popular sovereignty, supreme power rests with and only with the people. Some part of the Constitution mitigates popular sovereignty. Electoral college choose to the president, not popular vote. State legislature choose the Senate, not popular vote. Later changed to direct popular elections by 17th Amendment. Limited governments, also called constitutionalism and rule of law. Government is not all powerful. Powers government doesn't have and are listed. Separation of powers. US uses a presidential government where the executives and legislative branches are chosen separately. Each branch has its own powers and responsibilities. Checks and balances. They have powers to override each other when necessary. Judicial review. Courts may determine whether or not what the President or Congress does is constitutional. If court declares an act unconstitutional, the act is not a law and the decision cannot be overridden. Federalism. The national government is given certain powers by the Constitution. Whatever is left is a power for the states to use. Key parts of Article 1. Section 8. List of all expressed powers Congress has. Also include the necessary and proper clause. Gives Congress additional implied powers. Section 9. Prohibits certain actions Congress may take. No ex post facto laws, punishments for doing something before it was legal. No substance of habeas corpus, the right to challenge one's own detention in court. No suspension of habeas corpus, the right to challenge one's own detention in court. Section 2. President can appoint people to many positions. Must have advice and consent of the Senate. Senate takes a majority vote to confirm appointments. Section 4. Can only be removed by impeachment for high crimes and misdemeanors. Key parts of Article 4. Section 1. Full faith and credit clause. States must grant each other full faith and credit on public acts, records, and judicial proceedings. Means legal decisions of states must be respected and held by other states. Section 2. Privileges and immunities clause. States must grant residents of other states all privileges and immunities they give to their own residents. Article 5, formal amendment process. Step 1 must be proposed, happens at the national level. Step 2 must be ratified, happens at the state level. This is a reflection of federalism. Two-third vote is in both houses of Congress. All 27 amendments were proposed in this way. Constitutional conventions requested by two-thirds of the states have not ever been used. Three-fourths of the state legislatures approve it. Three-fourths of the conventions called by the states approve it. Only the 21st Amendment was ratified this way. Key parts of Article 6. Section 2 Supremacy Clause. Federal laws are always supreme over state laws. US Constitution is supreme over all state constitutions. The first 10 amendments. The Bill of Rights. These are awesome. And you get to memorize them. The first amendment. Freedom of religion. Establishment clause. Government cannot establish a religion. Pre-exercise clause. Government cannot prohibit you from practicing religion. Freedom of speech. Freedom of the press. Right to assembly. Right to petition. The second amendment. The right to bear arms. Not the right to bear arms. The third amendment. No quartering of soldiers in times of peace. The fourth amendment. Protection against unreasonable search and seizure. The fifth amendment. No double jeopardy, cannot be charged with the same crime twice. Protection against self-incrimination. Guarantee of due process of law. The sixth amendment. Right to a criminal trial by jury. Trial must be a speedy public. Must be in a state where the crime was committed. Right to legal counsel. Right to call witnesses favorable to the defendant. The seventh amendment. Right to a civil trial by jury. Civil, not criminal, typically lawsuits for money or to repeal government action. The eighth amendment. Protection against cruel and unusual punishment. The ninth amendment. Rights retained by the people. In other words, just because a right is not listed here, the Constitution does not mean that people don't have the right. Truth from your teachers, yes, it does. The 10th Amendment. Powers reserved for the state. All powers that are not given to the national government are reserved for the states. Informal amendments. The vast majority of changes to the Constitution have not changed the words in the Constitution. Basic legislation. Congress law provides specific details about the vague proposition adhered in the Constitution. Congress also changed its own powers over time based on the words of the Constitution. Results of necessary and proper clause. Executive actions. Presidents are always looking for ways to stretch and grow their powers. Thus, presidents today are much more powerful than in the past presidents. Court decisions. Since Marbury vs. Madison, the court has had the power to declare act of the president and Congress unconstitutional. This power is called judicial review, and the courts uses it to tell us what they interpret the Constitution to mean. Party practices. Political parties did not exist at the nation's start, but they have become an almost necessary element. The electoral college used to decide whether who would be the president. Now they just rubber stamp the choice of voters. Custom. Many customs have developed that we follow just as strongly as laws. Senatorial courtesy. When nominating a judge, the president always asks the permission of the two senators from the judge's state. Cabinet. 15 advisors for the president are not in the Constitution. In my next video, I will give you the detail about the US constitutions. Thanks.